Hi, my name is Fran. I'm an ambassador for Switzerland, and this is my introduction video. What led me to fermentation was my health. When my kids were really small, I just felt burned out, and the nutritionist told me that I should eat raw fermented foods that would help my entire body. Since in my family fermentation wasn't a topic anymore that was being passed on to us children, I booked a sauerkraut course so I can learn it. And yeah, I just went there in the morning to that course. We chopped vegetables, added salt, packed them into a jar, and I took the jar home. And a few hours later, that jar already started working. I could hear how the gas was leaving the jar. And yeah, I could actually see and feel how the microbes were working. And I was hooked from the first hour on. In fact, I was hooked so much that shortly afterwards I booked a 6-month fermentation certification and then I started teaching. That was in 2018. I think for myself, it's both the fascination about microbes, about how they can transform both the taste and the texture of foods. It's just amazing each time. It's amazing again. And of course, also health. It's so easy to create fermented foods and it just helps your body each day. And professionally, I can just make people happy. So many people told me that I could open an entire new world to them and they're being grateful. And also those who know how to ferment already, they always say they learned so much and can take things on a higher level now. And yeah, people just always leave the cooking studio with a big smile and gratefulness. And that's just really amazing. That was that initial sauerkraut making jar where we put chopped cabbage and salt into a jar. I had no idea what's going to happen in the next few days, but already in the evening, I could hear the CO2 push out of the jar and I could see all the bubbles, and it was just mesmerizing, really. Well, I would say they certainly easier and less easy ferments. So for vegetables, I would start with a vegetable in salt brine rather than sauerkraut. It's so much easier to create, especially if you take a hard vegetable like nuts, tomatoes or peppers or something that's soft, because soft vegetables contain sugar and they can just mold a lot easier due to the sugar content and the softness. But let's say carrot sticks are really easy to ferment in salt brine. Almost nothing can go wrong there. But also milk kefir is super easy to make. I find it a lot easier than kombucha or water kefir. And also, if you want to try wild yeast to make a fermented drink with wild yeast, I recommend tepache, which is a ferment based on pineapples, because the yeasts on the pineapple skin together with whatever is in the pineapple just works amazingly well each time. It's a lot easier to make tepache than, let's say, for example, ginger beer. Fermentation has been a big part of my life for the past 8 years since I teach. I teach a lot. I teach every week or every 2 weeks. I teach public classes. I get booked for events. I even teach now a 6-month fermentation certification myself. And yeah, so I ferment a lot, mainly for my courses and for the events, for the tastings, because I love bringing lots of ferments to taste. And personally, I always have fermented foods in my fridge, so I can consume them on a daily basis for my health. What I make sure to drink almost every day is milk kefir. I usually blend the kefir with some frozen berries. That makes it nice and cold and delicious. And yeah, I do that really for my health. I also consume a bit of fermented vegetables each day, which is mostly leftovers from my courses, from the tastings, like fermented carrot sticks, curtido, which is sauerkraut from El Salvador, or fermented onions, and these kind of things. Last week, I also drank the leftovers from a strawberry soda and the ginger beer, which I made for a drinks fermentation course. I hope you enjoyed this little insight into my fermentation worlds, and I wish you a beautiful day. Hugs from Zurich, Switzerland.